Let's get started with the creation of virtual network gateways. The first step is to select the network in which you want to create the gateway. So I'll select VNet 1 here and then click on subnets. Once you click on subnets, you will see a special entity called gateway subnet. If you want to create a gateway subnet, we must be creating a subnet specifically for the gateway. If you want to create a virtual network gateway, we must be creating a gateway subnet specifically for that appliance, which is a virtual network gateway. So our device, the virtual network gateway, will reside in this special subnet. It doesn't have to be big. You can keep it small as /28. That's fine. That will be 10.20.40.0/28. So I'm getting about 11 IP addresses with 5 Azure reserved addresses. That's fine. Now I'll just click on OK. Our gateway subnet is created. Now it's time to create our virtual network gateway. So I'll click on the search box and type virtual network gateways here. You can either click on the plus add button or create virtual network gateway, and then it will show you certain options where you got to fill up to create the gateway. Now the name of the gateway, please follow your naming standards. I'll just type it as gateway, which should be located in the same region where your VNet is. Your VNet and your gateway cannot be in two different regions. They must be in the same region. Now, do you want to create a VPN or an express route? VPN is for site-to-site connections. Express route will give you much more bandwidth than what VPN can provide. We still have to talk about express route, and we'll be doing that in the subsequent videos in this module. What is a VPN type? The VPN types can be either route-based or policy-based. Azure Network Gateways support both route-based and policy-based. What does that mean? Policy-based means that there will be static routing, and route-based means it will be supporting dynamic routing VPN. So if you have new subnets created, and if you want those subnets to be addressed and to be discoverable by the VNet, then we must be using route-based VPN. New subnets will not be discovered if we select policy-based VPN. And hence, policy-based VPN is static, and route-based routing, as the name says, it is dynamic in nature. That means it will detect new subnets and route the traffic to them dynamically. I will leave it as route-based for now. SKU. When you create a virtual network gateway, you specify the gateway SKU that you want to use. You will select the SKU that satisfies your requirements based on the types of workloads, throughputs, features, and SLAs. So if I click on this drop-down menu, you will have the various options here to select the kind of SKU you want. You have the options to choose right from basic all the way up to VPN GW5AZ. What does basic mean? Basic means that you can have maximum up to 10 site-to-site tunnels. What's more important is the speed. You get up to 100 Mbps with a basic connection. But for mission critical workloads and for high throughput needed applications, 100 Mbps may not be enough. So you may want to go for something higher. The VPN G1 will give you up to 650 Mbps. So as you scroll down from top to bottom, from basic to VPN GW5AZ, you may range your bandwidth from 100 Mbps to 10 Gbps, and 10 Gbps will be the generation 5 type of SKU, which will then give you 10 Gbps bandwidth. You can see how much bandwidth is required, communicate with your network guys and the application owners to see how much bandwidth is required, and you can pick and choose one of them. Keep in mind that the resizing of the gateway SKUs is allowed within the same generation, except the resizing of basic SKU. The basic SKU is a legacy SKU and has feature limitations. In order to move from basic to any other VPN gateway SKU, you must delete the basic SKU VPN gateway and create a new gateway with the desired generation and SKU size combinations. Depending on the kind of SKU you have chosen, your billings will then be directly proportional to it. In this case, since it is a lab, I'll just select the basic version and then select generation. You got just one generation here, but then if I toggle to others, I may have others too, right? The last one here is GW5AZ, which is generation 2. So there are two generations of virtual network gateways. One is generation 1 and other is generation 2. You can toggle between them. Moving on, I'll switch back to basic and leave it as generation 1. The virtual network in which I want to host it is VNet 1 because that is where my subnet gateway is created. Then the subnet gateway address range is automatically picked up. Do I want to create a public IP address? Well, yes. And then I can just give it some name. Say new IP for gateway. Enable active mode. To achieve high availability for cross-platform and VNet to VNet connectivity, you should deploy multiple VPN gateways. You also need to establish multiple parallel connections between your networks and Azure, and this will ensure high availability. So if you have to establish such redundant communication channels, then you will go for an active mode. And because it also needs a secondary communication channel, I will need a secondary public IP address too. In this case, I will leave it as disabled. The next option is configuring BGP, Border Gateway Protocol, ASN. Now, BGP, ASN stands for Autonomous System Numbers. And that's how your devices are uniquely identified on the network. So with a single technical administration, you will be able to identify your device's registered number, which will then be your ASN. So you can assign an ASN to your device, and the device's virtual network gateway here. By putting a valid number here, you're saying that you are assigning this number to your network gateway. In this case, I will leave it as disabled and then click on Next. I'll not assign any tags at this point. Let's click on Review and then finally click on Create. Now this resource deployment really takes some time. I've noticed that the whole fully functional virtual network gateway is deployed in about 45 minutes. So I'll pause the video for now, and if there are any changes on the screen, I will resume it and then explain them. But it may take about 45 minutes just in case if you are doing the labs. Please keep in mind that you do not refresh the page, leave it as it is. If you want to do some activities, open a new tab and then run your operations, but do not disturb this deployment.